Okay, again, good morning. It's 8:32, so let's get rocking and rolling. We welcome you back. These meetings, if you recall, are convened at your request when we had our first industry town hall way back in July. That seems like a long time ago, and yet it seems like yesterday. But anyway, this is your meeting. And these meetings, again, are for you as leaders in your industries and your communities to share ideas, best practices, challenges, triumphs, and particularly your workforce needs so that your workforce development partners, the Workforce Development Board under the Tri-County Council for Southern Maryland and continuing education under the College of Southern Maryland, can focus our resources on meeting the talent needs that you face during this time and in the future, and focus on getting Southern Marylanders back to work. So if I look back over the first time we convened in July and again in September, there was a resounding cry from industry participants regarding having trouble recruiting and retaining candidates during this time. And when we met back in September, we were just, I think, about a week away or days away from a regional hiring event put on by the Tri-County Council. It's an annual event, usually in person, but this year we had it on a very good virtual platform. And at that meeting in September, I suggested that if you have hiring needs, please jump on that platform, join the hiring event, and hopefully it will bring you some needed talent. So anybody in the room, industry partners, did anyone participate in the hiring event? It was on September 21st. No? Well, let's give you a little rundown on how it went. Yvette Turner, a business engagement specialist and our keeper of all job fairs, going to tell you a little bit about how it went back in September. Go ahead, Yvette.
Good morning, everyone. So for our virtual 9th annual Southern Maryland Hiring Event, we had a total of 64 hiring businesses who participated, 952 registered job seekers, and 1,511 job applications that were actually submitted during the hiring event. Of those 64 hiring businesses, 6 of them were in the retail hospitality industry, which indicates that 7% of the participants, business participants, were in the retail hospitality industry. To share with you a little bit more about how those who participated were benefited by the event.
Yeah, I'm not going to be asked to speak. It's another web meeting.
To share with you more about how those who participated benefited, specifically in the retail hospitality industry, we had the 6 businesses, one being Chick-fil-A of California. They had 86 visitors to their booth, and they took in 5 applications that day. The Wills Group had 288 visitors to their booth, and they took in 46 applications that day. The Gott Company had 187 visitors with 27 applications. MGM had 265 visitors with 114 applications, and the Chick-fil-A in Waldorf had 124 visitors with 22 applications. We sent out survey notices to all of the participating businesses, and thus far, the additional data that we've captured to date is that we have 52 confirmed hires from the hiring event. The Gott Company initially reported that they had 2 immediate hires, and then they just recently updated us to let us know that they had a total of 14 hires as a direct result of the hiring event. We also had Chick-fil-A, one of the Chick-fil-A locations, because of the way the survey was taken, I wasn't able to pinpoint was it the Waldorf or the California location, but they indicated that they had 2 hires, and the MGM indicated that they had 17 hires as a direct result of the hiring event. So that indicates that out of 52 hires that we have confirmed, and we certainly believe that there was many more, that 33 out of 52 hires were directly from the retail hospitality industry, indicating that 63% of the hires from that event were from retail hospitality. one of the comments on the survey was that from MGM that it was a great resource for entry level job seekers. So that's a short capture of the hiring event. It was a great indicator to us that hiring events do work. They do bring in, especially for the retail hospitality industry, a great resource of job seekers. I also heard from the surveys that there may be an interest in a industry-specific hiring event just for retail hospitality. So we definitely open the floor for anyone that participated. If you have some additional insight on how the event went or any additional numbers, and also just love to hear from those who are on today's meeting what your thoughts are for an industry-specific hiring event.
You can just unmute yourself and chime in.
I'd just like to also add that as a follow-up, also from our last meeting and then after the hiring event, we heard from our restaurant, well, we categorized the restaurant into the retail hospitality industry as well, but there was a great cry out also from the restaurants within our region that they too were challenged with finding great talent in, especially with, COVID and all of the challenges that were compounded on them in this year. And so we had a restaurant hospitality career path info session on October 8th. And we sent out an invite to everyone. We received feedback from Chick-fil-A, The Got, and W.J. Dent and Sons that they would like to participate. And so it was a great opportunity for these businesses to speak about their company culture. We used our Crowdcast platform. Let me first preface by saying that, which is a visual podcast social media platform. And so it allowed these businesses to talk about their company culture, to talk about career paths within their company, and getting the candidates to understand that even though they may be coming in as an entry level position, that there are opportunities for advancement and growth within the company. And so of those three businesses, we were able to continue to send referrals to them. All of them were taking paper applications. So we sent those candidates who were interested directly to the business to apply. And so if any of those businesses are on and wanted to provide any feedback on that event, we definitely like to hear more. But those are the type of things that we see are successful in assisting the industry. And if anyone is interested in having something more of that type of event in place, we'd love to hear from you as well.
Yvette, can I ask a question about, your job fair that you had? With us being invited in with the high schools, and one of my colleagues on here would know better than me, we know that like in the hotels or things like that, they have to be 18 years old to man that. With your showcase that you had, did you find that there was a lot of that industry that needed the folks to be 18, or is it okay for us to send our students there to try to get a foot in?
I would say it's definitely okay to send the students in to get a foot in. Within the restaurant industry, they are definitely open to hiring as early as age 16, some of them the 15 and 9 months. And then for those retailers that are currently looking to fill positions, they openly will take applications from 16 years of age and older.
Thank you, Yvette.
Anyone else?
If you don't mind, my name is Bonnie Kelly. I work with Mike Boyle at the Tech Center, and I used to be the hospitality and tourism instructor here, and now I am in a different position for vocational support and internship. Something that would be interesting to me, and I've tried reaching out to some of the local hotel managers. We are part of the Apprenticeship Maryland program through the Department of Labor, which I believe in some cases that does help us with the age issue. They're able to waive some of those age issues, but it's trying to get the hotels and restaurants on board to want to participate with the program. And what it is so the Apprenticeship Maryland, the students come and apprentice with your business once you're approved, and they have to get paid at least minimum wage. They have to have 450 hours through the school year. And then the hope is they'll be offered a position to stay on with that business. But we do have students that are eager, and excited. And unfortunately, I think what happens is, being the teacher of the program, is we can't get them placed when they graduate, and then they lose interest in the industry. And I think this is a huge issue. If we could get them hooked early on in high school through the program and get them in positions where, they're in a training position where they actually have a career pathway, I think we'll have a much easier time keeping people in the industry. It's just a suggestion. If anyone is interested in more information, I'm more than happy to talk with anybody about it.
That's wonderful. And Apprenticeship Maryland is a fantastic program. It gives young people that work and learn opportunity, or learn and earn, as the feds say. So anytime we can put a young person in a position where they are working and earning a wage, but learning the career at the same time, makes a tremendous amount of sense. And we do certain amounts of that too in our Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act Youth and Young Adult program, where in fact the law requires us to spend at least 20% of our funding on work-based learning opportunities for young people. So we are always in search of willing industry partners that will take a young person on and give them this training while they're helping your business. I wanted to add, in addition to the big hiring event and to the Crowdcast event and to any informational sessions we have on industry events, we also routinely hold customized recruitments for businesses. So any business that comes to us and says, I have one opening or I have 10 openings, can you help me? What we will do is find qualified candidates and set up virtual meetings between those candidates and the businesses. And the businesses can then choose to contact them later, ask them to submit an application. We've had some hired on the spot. So that is another service we offer at the Tri-County Council. And of course, everything is free.
Bonnie, this is Ellen Flowers Fields. Can I just ask that you put your email contact information in the chat so any of our industry partners that are interested in following up with you can do so? I also just wanted to ask if you don't mind sharing, what do you think the barrier has been? Is industry uninformed about the opportunity, and how can we as a system help you get the word out, or is industry not interested? What do you find? What do you think?
It's a tough call. I think they would be interested. A lot of times what gets thrown back at me is, well, they have to be 18. And I think that's something that we could work. And I know other hospitality businesses across the state are working with AMP in the high schools. So I do know it's possible. I just think that, and the industry does know there's an issue with retaining. So if we can, if I could get these kids early, get them hooked in the industry and retain them, I think that would really benefit us. Part of it is another, I think, huge issue is through the Apprenticeship Maryland program, when you bring on a student, you have to provide a mentor, which is something I fully believe in, because I've had too many students start jobs and they get there and they get thrown in the first day and they're not trained, they don't know what they're doing, and they get disenchanted and leave. Through the Apprenticeship Maryland, they do have to have a mentor. They have to actually be learning, and they have to be on a career pathway. And for a lot of these businesses, and I totally understand, they're busy or they don't have the staff to actually mentor somebody coming in. So I think, the under 18, and then, you know, having the staff to help train these students may be two of the obstacles that we run into. Because I know in talking to some of the businesses, that they definitely see there being an issue with, you know, hiring good people and retaining them. And we do get some of my students that have come through here. I've got one right now. She graduated 2 years ago, and she desperately wants to work in the industry, and she's, you know, having a hard time finding a job. And she's at CSM getting her hospitality management degree. So, you know, I do understand where we have good people out there. It's just getting them matched up with the correct business.
Thank you for that.
Anyone else? Ellen, would you like to take it from here?
Sure. Ruthie, let me just ask you really quick. Are you going to talk about Skill Up today, or do you just want me to
Yes.
open the floor for the conversations?
We can do it in whichever order you want. I am prepared to tell the group about Skill Up today.
Okay, great. Well, I'll go ahead and open the floor. You know, again, thank you all for joining. And Ruthie and I just want to continue to emphasize this is certainly your meeting. Our hope is that we can come to each of these meetings with information about what the regional system is doing to help support your industry, but more importantly, that we come to these sessions giving you an opportunity to tell us what your ongoing needs and challenges are. Bonnie, I'll just share with you that we had a great conversation with Mike Boyle and other CTE representatives earlier this week, talking about the very issue that you just brought up, not specifically to hospitality and retail, but specific to the challenges that young people who are getting their CTE certifications may be having in connecting to employment. And so there is the beginnings of a robust conversation as to how do we as a community capture those investments when we know employers are having a difficult time finding the right kind of talent, and we know we're investing local, state, and federal resources providing skills training to young people and adults. How can we work together to bridge that connection better? So the conversation has started, and what you brought up today is certainly a part of that. But we want to hear from industry directly. What are the issues that we're not talking about that you're facing, you know, currently now during the pandemic, or maybe they were pre-pandemic issues that continue to impact your industry. And so we just want to open the floor to give everyone an opportunity to comment, as well as share any successes or best practices you've learned during this time. Someone comfortable sharing how it's going? Ruthie, they're thinking about it. I think, Mike, are you gonna pop on?
Yeah,
Great, thank you.
I think probably a lot of us are thinking it's so hard to come up with something that is a positive, great thing, because we've had so few of them with this pandemic. Our kids, as far as in the schools, have really been handcuffed. When we do get them out into placements, you know, it's got to be a completely voluntary thing by both the student and the parent. I wish I had some great ones. I think Bonnie Kelly on here only has maybe one student placed and working. And it's not due to the lack of placements. All of you folks need people, but getting them out there is the hard part.
Actually, if we're talking about all of our students out and working, we have 6 that are placed right now through tech job rules.
Awesome. One of the things we heard from you during our previous session was that the additional unemployment benefits, that additional $600 that individuals were getting, was dramatically impacting your ability to obtain talent, that people were, not interested in coming to work when they could make more on unemployment. How have you seen, any changes to that over this time? Is it better? If anyone's talking, you're muted. Don't hear a voice. Well, you certainly have time to bring up issues as you continue to think about what those things are that you may want to address or have us address as a workforce system. But Ruthie, why don't we move right into Skill Up and talk about that additional resource that's will be available to the community.
Okay, thank you. And I'm excited to talk about Skill Up. We may have mentioned this briefly in past sessions, but we are just on the cusp of a launch of a platform that provides over 5,000 trainings that will be free to every individual that resides in Southern Maryland and every business. And we have a brief presentation. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Sandy. So over the past several months, our town halls and our roundtables have brought to light the challenges that different industries are facing. And one of the biggest ones, of course, is the loss of skilled workers and the lack of skilled applicants. We searched for a solution to this problem to help skill up the workforce, allowing them to obtain an industry recognized certification on their own or take the steps toward an industry recognized certification, saving employers money from the comfort of their own home, even during COVID, and when their schedule allows. This is an online platform available to anyone who has internet access. So the solution we found was Skill Up Maryland. And let's take a couple of minutes to view a video on what Skill Up Maryland is all about, and then I'll take you through a brief overview of the platform.
Communities across the country are facing unprecedented challenges due to the coronavirus. Millions of Americans are losing jobs as businesses struggle to generate revenue. The majority still working are doing so from home. As history has shown with previous crises, we will pull through this together. Our career centers are here to help you prepare now for the eventual economic turnaround. With a large portion of our community expected to be home for the next several months, we are extending access to the Skill Up program to our unemployed residents and local employers. Skill Up offers the opportunity to update your existing job skills, learn new skills, and even pursue an industry-recognized certification as you prepare to head back to work. The program provides access to over 5,000 courses, training for over 100 certifications, and is accessible from anywhere with internet access 24/7. If you're interested, please visit this site for more information.
And Sandy, if you wouldn't mind following the presentation, putting that landing site in the chat. Don't do it now because I need you to do the slides. So here is the landing page for Skill Up Southern Maryland. You can see that there are tools for job seekers. There are also tools for employers. And we'll go into the employer tools in greater detail at a later date, but you have the capability as a business to search for candidates or to design specific training curriculum paths for your incumbent employees. Next slide. These are some of the highlights of the program. As we said, over 5,000 courses free to any resident in Southern Maryland. You can register at that landing page, southernmaryland.skillupamerica.org. And it's a very simple process. Once you register, you're on the portal. It is self-paced. It's available 24/7. And you can work on job skills and software and more towards 100 or more industry certifications. Next slide. This page shows the resources for job seekers. They can upgrade their skills, they can explore career pathways, and they can work towards industry certifications simply by self-registering for free. They're able to search for local job postings and find information on connecting with our local career centers for additional resources and assistance. Once registered, they come to this screen where they can then select if they would like to explore a particular industry path that they're interested in, or browse the catalog of individual courses available if they want to sharpen up their skills and not necessarily obtain a credential or certification, or they can do job search. Next slide. If the individual chooses to work toward obtaining an industry certification, this guides them through the process. They take a brief 25-question survey where they indicate their skill levels for specific areas, and this is anywhere from office technology or ethics or customer service or specific IT areas and many more. And then they choose the specific industry path, such as IT, such as retail or hospitality, as their desired occupation. Inputting this information will then generate a skills progress chart based on the information provided. Green shows an overage of that person's current skills and abilities. Blue says they meet the skill requirements for that occupation, and red identifies their skill gaps. Based on those skill gaps, the portal will then populate their career pathway with the courses they need to take and the skills they need to obtain to work towards their certification. And here, this is just one page out of the many, many career pathway opportunities, but these are some of the available industry pathways for retail and hospitality. We anticipate that we will be officially launching this program in the very near future. However, it's up and running, and anyone who wants to start using it now may do so. The website link as well as the video link will be shared in the comments, as well as a follow-up email. We'll send everyone out this presentation following today's meeting. So this is just one way that workforce development is working towards filling your pipeline with skilled applicants. Does anyone have any questions regarding Skill Up Southern Maryland?
I don't have a question, Ruthie. I just want to comment, this is Ellen again, that, this is a tremendous asset for all individuals of all ages within our community, those that have not yet entered the labor force or those that have been in the labor force for some time but are looking for a career change. It's a self-assessment tool that allows you to see where you currently have skills and what skills you might be deficient in order to make you marketable for an industry that you're interested in going into. So that it evaluates those competencies. And this tool can be tremendous for someone who's just trying to figure out what their next steps are. It helps to connect them. There's training within the tool itself that the individual can take on their own to explore and increase their competencies in the tool, but it also directs them to seek out the services of their workforce system. So if they need the formal training that then allows them to get the industry recognized certification, they can come to an institution like the College of Southern Maryland to obtain it. So we really, the Workforce Board has made an investment in this tool. I think it's a year-long contract that you have for a year to see how our community responds to this. And so we strongly encourage everyone to take advantage of this opportunity. And along the lines of really trying to help industry fill their pipelines, we talked with all of you about the ACT National Career Readiness credential several months ago, and whether or not you would be interested as an industry in someone who could show you a credential that says that they have strong evidence of skills in some of the soft skills areas that are so important to the workplace, such as just basic literacy and technical reading and writing and basic and math skills. I'm excited to share, and each of you will be getting an email with an invitation to an upcoming regional boot camp, a virtual boot camp that we're having with our economic development partners, our K through 12 partners, industry representatives, and representatives from our regional workforce board to discuss the implementation of that initiative for our region so that we can be designated as a national work-ready community. There'll be more information in the email invitation that you receive that gives you the details about that designation and why we want to pursue it. But it's really all about helping industry. We've heard you. We know that you need more, and we're really trying to align various resources to help fill the gaps that you have and to provide skills training opportunities for your employees. So we want you to take advantage of it and be involved and be at the table to help guide us so that we're making the right decisions for you. So any other comments, information that you want to share with us, something you want us to look into, and bring back to you when we meet again next quarter? You guys are a quiet group. We got a lot of homework from our healthcare group. They give us a lot of work to do, but it's okay. We're here for you. If it's not top of mind today, you certainly know how to reach both Ruthie and I to give us those ideas. But by the time we meet again, hopefully we'll have had the Skill Up launch, and we may have some additional usage data to share with you by then. We will also have had the National Career Readiness Certification Bootcamp for our region, and we'll be able to give you an update as to where we are as a region with the rollout and implementation of that. And by that time, you will have seen a press release that we hope you'll help us really proliferate in the community, just to talk about how we're working together, industry and the public sector, how we're working together to try and get Southern Maryland back to work. If there is a more important time for our collective mission in connecting people to jobs, it is now. And we can only do it together, which is why these forums are so important for us to begin to look at where we're missing opportunities to connect and collaborate better. So unless there's anything else that you want to bring to our attention this morning, we're going to conclude and ask that you, thank you, Daniel, go right ahead.
Yeah. I've just got a quick question, and listening to everything here, and I'm still kind of a newbie, I think, with the SBDC. One of the things that I'd like to get a feel for is in the hospitality industry. As was mentioned previously, everybody was on unemployment. They were getting $600 checks. They didn't really want to go back to work. But I'd like to know how many, or not specifically, but I'd like to get a feel for the industry people that are involved with us, how many lost employees because they lost business. They just couldn't afford to keep everyone employed. And then I know in the industry, you're always looking for skilled personnel. You're always looking for people with enthusiasm. And out of these people that have lost, say, 20% of their workforce, how many are now continuing to hire or looking to really hire, or are they planning for 6 months from now when they're hoping that the pandemic will be slow enough that their businesses will be able to reopen? Because I think this is one of the issues we have to work with. People are focused on keeping their doors open, I think sometimes with whoever they have currently working versus their real expansion level later, and are they really going to plan to hire 6 months from now? So we're not seeing a lot of activity in the hiring side. I think some of the things we have to offer, we have to get the hospitality industry educated that now's the time for them to look into it and just kind of prepare for 6 months from now. Does that make any sense to you?
Mm. It absolutely does. I don't know if anyone has any comments regarding that. Maybe even Yvette, from your work at the job source, are you seeing retail and hospitality job openings on an uptick, or is it pretty level, or any data points you might want to share?
If I could step in quick before Yvette goes, you know, I can see where some of the problem, but I can see where their openings are going to be. Some folks have lost their really good people because they've been reduced and now they've gone to other spots. So it's going to make a lot of openings in other spots. But, you know, it's not much different than, let's say, in the school systems, our bus drivers. We have to continue to pay them because if school opens up tomorrow, and these bus drivers have found different jobs, how would we continue working? So I'm sure that that's a hospitality issue that they're thinking about, is when this uptick starts back, where am I going to find these people? And I guess it's our jobs here to make sure that we can try to find those people for them.
Mm.
To answer your question about what I'm seeing as far as the job openings within the industry, I was just looking over some labor market information this week, and it appears that within the retail industry itself, if you're looking at like clothing stores, department stores of that nature, there is anywhere between a 5 and 8% decline in the job openings that are being posted. However, when we look at our restaurants, there is an increase, a 2% increase. So it does specifically depend on the business service that they're providing, but it is fluctuating, and the retail is definitely being impacted greatly.
Thank you, Yvette. Any other comments or questions before we close?
I would just like to mention that our next quarterly meeting, we're holding our next round of quarterly meetings for all 4 of our target industries in April. And the next meeting of the retail hospitality industry will be on April 14th, which is a Wednesday. But please feel free to reach out to any of us in between. We don't have to wait until April to have important conversations. Yes. And we thank you so much for your time and your interest today, and we look forward to hearing from you further.
Have a great day, everyone. Bye.